It is Thursday, everyone. I'm Andrew Dow. Time for a Happening in the Hamptons podcast, our weekly breakdown of the Hamptons market, new listings, and events on the East End. We are sponsored by New York Title Abstract, the Hamptons' leading title insurance firm. Visit newyorktitle.com. We have Steve Glick, Dave Rutiner, and today return guests Lori Lambert and Steve Zellman. How are you guys?
We're really good.
Very good to be
Really, really good. It's a little bit of a rainy day. We were just talking about the weather. We wanted to improve. It's going to improve because May's around the corner. May's tomorrow?
May Day.
This
May Day.
weekend, yep.
This weekend. All right. So I'm saying we're into the season. Things are busy.
25 days, I think, till Memorial Day. So we're
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're getting there.
See,
guys.
we're there.
That's 26 days.
26.
You know, we've had what I call
counting?
like spring 1 and then winter 2 or 3, and then we're back to like spring 2.
Yep.
So it's like, and then we get into the summer and it's nice. But you guys, we were talking about what we wanted to discuss on this podcast, and obviously we'll talk rentals and sales, and you have a great exclusive on Stephen Hand's Path that we'll get to. But the argument for buying and renting is something that I think can be unique to the Hamptons because, if you were to say to somebody, should I buy or rent? Instinctively, somebody would say, well, you buy, right? Why wouldn't you buy? But there's an argument to be made for why you would rent in the Hamptons. What is your take on the buy versus rent argument?
Well, so why I got to this subject for today is because I had a really interesting day the other day with clients who were in the same quandary. So they asked to see both. And I took them out. We saw 14 houses, about half.
In a day?
Yeah.
Wow. That's moving.
That's impressive.
It was 3 days of work putting that together.
Yeah, the coordination alone.
Hitting every appointment.
I
Yeah.
was on time for every single one except the last one.
And was the other agent on time? The showing agent?
Well, what happened? What happened?
Everybody.
You did it to get everything on time. We'll tell them afterwards.
Okay, well, that's not necessarily true.
It's called
Still-
driving really fast.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, Stephen, it wasn't even that. It was routing. It was routed properly. Anyway, we don't need to waste time on that. But the day was great, and it was down to the end. They still weren't sure, and then we isolated 2 properties. One was for sale, and one was for rent. So we made offers on both, and at the end of the day, they sort of zeroed in on the sale one. Now, why is because obviously we can talk a little bit about why it's better to buy out here first. And obviously it's better to buy out here because your home becomes an asset and because you really, the argument is obvious. It offers equity, tax advantage, and a hard asset, historically hedging well against inflation. The other argument for it is that, as we've discussed in the last half hour, if you have a mortgage, your mortgage is not going to go up with inflation if you have a fixed mortgage, unlike rent or unlike everything else, which goes up year after year after year after year. They got to the point where we put an offer in for the sale house, and it ended up being, going back and forth with pricing, it ended up being $100,000 more than what they had originally set their limit as. And I was able to point out to them that that $100,000 was the same $100,000 they would have spent on a rental for a month and a half out here. Obviously, the rents here do not line up with the rents anywhere else in the country. I can't say in the world, but probably here or Nantucket, there's probably very few places that have $100,000 for a month. But and they really, they absorbed that reasoning, because why take $100,000 and
just throw it away,
and it disappears, right? It just disappears, and you really don't have a home base, and you really can't improve it. You can't make it your own.
Yep.
The argument to rent, and I think we can all discuss this, is here in the Hamptons, we have such diversified towns and neighborhoods, and even within each town, different areas that people like. Do you want to be near the beach? Do you want to be near the village? Do you want to be near the bay? Do you want to be in the woods? Sag Harbor versus East Hampton,
Two
so
totally
radically
different
different.
animals.
And it's really great. We rented out here. Stephen and I rented out here for many years. We identified East Hampton as where we felt at home and gave us most of what we wanted. But everybody you go out with, as a real estate agent, I always feel like it's important to make sure that they understand the difference between the towns before they buy or they rent. So sometimes our advice is rent here before you buy if you really don't know where you want to be. These people knew they wanted to be in East Hampton, so the argument was clear. They should buy because for year after year, they could always rent it if they decided they're not using it, or they could always sell it and make money because you're never going to lose your money out here.
Smart.
And you look at something like, let's just say you're not sure where you want to be. You like Sag Harbor or Bridgehampton or Southampton. Like you can rent somewhere in the middle there for the season.
Right.
And have easy access to all three.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next summer, you're like, okay, we've really settled on Southampton. That's where we want to be. And you buy.
Well, it's also like, you're going to experience the summer months renting, right?
Right.
So you're like, let me take the summer to look at homes because you're not going to find a home that quick. You want to see the home in its best light, see how the traffic is, and see it during the summer. So come out for the summer, rent one season, and then while you're out here, look at all the homes, go to the open houses, and by next summer you'll be living in your house that you own.
The other thing is, owning a home, as we all do, right? It costs a lot of money to upkeep. Yeah. Things break, things need repair. You need to this, you need to that. So if you do buy, and depending on the size of the home and property, like obviously that is going to be an expense and something you're going to have to factor into the purchase. If you're going to rent, there is a luxury in being able to say, I'm going to take it for a month and not have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
You know what I mean? So it just really depends, I think, on what you want and the amount of time you want to use it. If it's an asset or a place that you're going to use predominantly for, months out of the year for 5 years, then buying just seems like a slam dunk.
The other thing though is, people come out here and rent, they don't realize how great it is out here in the off season, so they're missing that. If you're renting, you're really not getting the full experience of my favorite month being September, September, October.
Don't tell people September's great out here.
Yeah, don't come in September.
That's great.
We don't have traffic.
Just leave that alone.
Objectively, owning is a much better option than renting. If you look at it from a financial perspective.
Financially, yes.
Well, you're basically bolting your money to the ground.
Yeah.
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 I think.
Into a safe asset.
But I totally understand why there is an argument for renting, especially if you're limited time out here or unsure of exactly where you want to call home. And I think, if you really want that asset to grow, theoretically, you want to hold it for more than a year. There's obviously ways to make money on a flip or in a year, you know what I mean? You could buy and turn around. If you didn't like Southampton, you wanted to go to East Hampton. It's not that you would necessarily lose the money, but you give it 5 years and that asset will grow. You'll be really happy that you had it.
Well, Stephen, when your parents could have bought out here, what was the story, right?
Me and my brothers were going to sleepaway camp, so they decided whether to send us to sleepaway camp or buy a $30,000 house in Southampton, oceanfront.
30,000.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oceanfront.
Yes.
And what do they do?
They sent us to camp.
Oh man.
That's right, exactly.
Because they had a boat and
Must have been a heck of a camp.
I hope that
It was a great
the best experience of your life.
And I years later, I said, Dad, what were you thinking? My God.
Well, there you go.
There's so many woulda, coulda, shouldas though in life.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
but as you
for
said,
sure.
Dave, the reality is that you buy a house and you get a mortgage or you pay for it. It's not going to go down. It's only going to go up if you hold on to it long enough. And, the other thing that I was going to say is that, when you own a house, you can't spend that money for a while.
And it's compounding.
Right. It's compounding.
Forced compounding.
As opposed to, right.
There's no discipline because you have to be.
If that money's in equities, you can fool around with it and God only knows what you're going to do.
And then you screw it up. Yeah.
You screw it up.
Dave, give your argument, your analogy that we were talking about beforehand. Your cup of coffee.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. When I was 11, after school, I'd go to Barnes and Springs, and I had $1, and I would buy a bag of chips for 50 cents and a Schwank's iced tea for 50 cents.
A what?
A Schwank's iced tea.
Couldn't just say iced tea.
It was Bonic Tonic back then. They still say it's in the green carton. Anyway, whatever. A Snapple. All right, make it easy. A Snapple. So
Not your
it was
sweaty.
$1. It was $1. And
I still expect it to be $1.
yeah, so it was $1. And I was thinking to myself the other day, I was like, man, I wish there was a way you could have that fixed, like I wish 30 years ago I could have done something that would make it so that instead of it being, $11, call it, I'd say a bag of chips and a Snapple is probably today like $8. And I'm not even exaggerating.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like $3.59 for both or something.
Absolutely.
And with tax, it's like $8.
Right.
So that's 8 times as much as it was when I was a kid. Literally 8 times. And I remember hearing that as a kid. I'd buy it for 50 cents and somebody would say to me, oh, I remember when it was 5 cents, and I'd be like, oh, that's so weird. When I was a kid, you would think that because you can't think that far ahead.
Of course, you don't need,
But,
doesn't even occur to you.
It's like with with a financial product like a mortgage, it's fixed for 30 years. And so you say that joke, a million years ago, it was $30,000 for an oceanfront or whatever. And yeah, it's true.
A million years ago.
Yeah, a million years.
Come on, man. Give him a
He's
little
not that old.
credit. Damn.
But, I guess my point is the housing is literally the only thing that you have the ability to time travel. For 30 years.
You lock it in. You lock in your 30-year rate.
You lock in for the rest of your life this magical payment, and it feels normal for 5 years, but then 10 years, you're like, my mortgage payment is, $3,000. Everyone's paying $4,000 for rent, or $5,000 for rent for the same thing that I got. And then the next thing 20 years goes by, and you're like, oh my goodness, people are paying, $9,000, $10,000 for the same thing I got, and mine's still the same payment.
Right.
And it's hard to think that far in advance, really.
But it's important to.
But if you can, man.
Well, there's not many things you could lock in for 30
the
years.
only thing you can do that with. Literally, you can't.
For 30 years, yeah. There's not many things that you could do that
with gas, and
Cars,
it's such a critical thing at home. So to me, it's so important. It's a survival thing for a lot of people.
A lot of people that are listening to this, though, this is a second home. Right. So
True.
It's a different kind of equation.
Right.
Right.
That's how I think because I'm local.
Well, right. But as a second home, you have to weigh whether or not you either, one, feel that you and your family will use it, well over time. It is a generational purchase too. People can always say, and kids, my parents have a home in the Hamptons. It's going to be mine one day. It will always have that sort of sparkle to it, right? Yep. A home in the Hamptons will always be something that people perk up about. And renting a home in the Hamptons too, that's fantastic. But if you really think that you could take advantage of it, there's no doubt in my mind that buying is the best.
It's a great investment, and you see over time
the fun. Renting's like, ooh, I want to. But dip in
renting
and see
is a
what's
whim.
going on, and you're on vacation.
Exactly.
You're not thinking about.
But the
that
investment
money,
is
the same
there.
reason you'd spend $1,000 a night at a hotel.
But
somewhere.
$1,000 a night, there's no more hotels for $1,000 a night.
Well,
unfortunately,
what
that's
saying.
another thing.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's another thing.
It's another thing.
Decent hotels.
It's a luxury. It's
But it's a throwaway.
It's a throwaway. Yeah.
It's a throwaway.
And you do it for the experience. And I understand that.
For many
I totally
years,
understand
for
that.
many years when we were just still babies, we rented out here instead of going on vacation. We would spend, like 15 years ago, it was $50,000 for the summer, which was still a lot of money for us, right?
It's a lot of money for. There's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for. I mean, it's not chump
But we got
change.
the whole summer.
Yeah.
We
and
got
it
the
was
whole
great.
summer, but we didn't go on vacation
But
that
the
year.
problem
But that
with
was vacation. Yeah.
That was
The problem with that is you count every weekend.
Yeah.
Like how many weekends do we
That's
get
true.
this summer?
This is why I don't have a boat.
Right.
I don't have a boat because I'm like, I don't have the time to spend on the boat every weekend.
And
You know what I mean?
You use it enough,
You
right?
have to use it enough. Same
Right.
thing with the
Have to use it
house.
enough.
Yeah.
Same thing with the house. If you're only going to use it on the weekends, you're spending $150,000 a month out here, which is pretty. I hate to say it. Is that average now? Would you say
Yeah, 150.
And
for a house that's really nice?
Yep.
I mean, I'd say the average is $100 a month. That's no chump change.
And we used to hate, like last year, it ended on September 1st. This year, the renters are getting an extra week because it ends in September.
But they're
2nd.
counting the days
yeah,
down
that's
until
true.
the summer's over. So, I listen, I never have looked back since we bought our house. I feel like we've made a
one year we rented September, October, November on Buell Lane, and we just
Had the
loved
fall.
it out
It
here.
was
I'm not
beautiful.
Yeah.
supposed to say how great the fall is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll
Just
hit the
kidding, I'm
stop
kidding, I'm
record and then
kidding.
we can talk about
So
that. But no, that's true.
Yeah, we just sat there and it was great. We enjoyed it, and then we decided, you know what?
This is stupid.
This is stupid.
The other decision that I made was I was sick of paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're renting, you're really paying somebody else's mortgage. Why not have that be your your investment? And it's we never looked back because
we never looked back. It's been
we've
great.
already doubled our money, right?
More.
That's the other thing. We've almost tripled our money.
Our neighborhood's on fire. It's incredible.
Yeah. So the investment it was never gonna be bad.
You know what I think is so funny? You own your house in East Hampton, and
yes.
do people say this to you all the time? They say, "Well, what are you guys doing? You could get so much money for your house. Why don't you rent it?" And I think the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I could. But
I don't want somebody sleeping in my bed.
Wait.
I want to be here.
One second. So one summer we decided we were going to try and rent the house for August to Labor Day, and we had a tenant that was about to sign a lease, and Lori woke up in the middle of the night and says, I don't want anybody sleeping in my bed. That's it. That was the only time.
It becomes your territory.
You don't want somebody in your house.
Well, and there's damage and all that sort of stuff.
There's always something that happens.
There's always something. But I think the discussion here is about whether or not you should not so much rent your house, but rent somebody else's house. And at the end of the day, I think we all agree buying a house is just well worth it. The house that we are just about to talk about.
So what do you got for sale? Yeah, what do you sell?
Good segue. Very nice.
578 Stephen Hans Path is a listing that we have. The homeowners want to sell, and if they don't sell it, they will rent it. So we've just decided to put it on for rent for the summer. Again, it's about $110,000. This one's about $110,000. Did we decide for Memorial Day to Labor Day? Right, and the house is for sale for 2.5. 2.3. Yeah, we just dropped it to 2.35. So that $100,000 could be half of a down payment for somebody. If you look at it that way, right? That $100,000 for the summer, they add another $100,000 and they could own it, right? So, this is
we could put it this way: Lori and I, we do a lot of rentals every year, and 70% of our sales have come from our renters.
Wow.
And from our landlords who have decided to sell after they've been renting from us.
Sure.
So,
why we focus on the rental business as well as obviously we do a lot of sales.
Yeah, and this is a great place. I mean, this has a ton to offer for somebody that whether they rent it or buy it. I mean, it's a beautiful house. It's got a great backyard
and great guest quarters and. Nice
I like the lower level because it walks out to the pool and you have the gym and you have the separate kitchenette and bedroom and bathroom and sitting area. It's like its own place.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much its own place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
really well located. It's very close to East Hampton Village and also very close to Sag Harbor. So you get the benefit of both of those fabulous towns. And
what a fireplace, man. Wow.
It's lovely. It really is lovely.
It's a good house.
Nice high ceilings in the great room. Brand new bathrooms. All the bathrooms are redone, perfect condition, and it's pretty much it's not a project house.
And the pool is brand new. One year old with an electric cover,
which he's very proud of.
Which he's very proud of the owner. Nice. He loves that thing.
And it's gated entrance. What else says Hamptons? Like
it feels very grand when you're driving in, and I think it's perfectly priced. And we just again dropped it to 235. So come look at it.
Okay,
that's a good deal. Yeah,
all right, let me shift over to Steve with a ballpark, a big picture of the numbers.
Big picture is a good week in the Hamptons. 28 listings went into contract, 25 last year. Increase 12%. 2 years ago, there were 21 listings that went into contract, so an increase there of 33%. So a good week with the 28 transactions, 2 between 15 and 20, 3 between 5 and 10, 6 between 3 and 5, 7 between 2 and 3, 8 between 1 and 2, and 2 under $1 million. The dollar volume was $111 million. Last year was $76 million, increase there of 46%. And then another increase from 2 years ago is $70 million, so it's 59% increase there. 41 new listings came onto the market, so that increases the inventory by 13 listings. So the 41 new listings breakdown, 1 over 20 million, 2 between 15 and 20 million, 2 between 10 and 15, 9 between 5 and 10, 10 between 3 and 5, 4 between 2 and 3, 10 between 1 and 2, and 3 under $1 million. That's 27 listings under $5 million that came onto the market. So that's really good to see. There's activity and new listings in all price categories. Inventory is at 1,732 total listings, 1,372 active, and 360 in contract. So great to see increase across the board on every category. So that's a good week as we round out April. we just said, May 1st is here this weekend, and there's a lot going on.
Do you feel that this month, May, is like a final push, or I don't want to say a final push, but like a big push to get things sold? Maybe not rented, but
Not really, because as we said before, a lot of people are out here for the summer, visiting guests, looking for houses, and they're here, they're circulating around. They see things, we advertise, obviously, in all the papers, but also, there's open houses. People can come look and just explore while they're here.
I think it's going to be a little more busy because the weather's been so lousy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Sure
going to
has.
get warm.
Once the
eventually.
weather breaks and it's warm consistently, you're going to see it out here. It's going to explode.
And I also
it's
think-
busy, but it's still like
Who
a lot of
wants to
rainy
come out
weekends.
from the city on a Saturday when it's raining and 42 degrees outside?
I agree.
And depending on what is going on overseas, a lot of people are hesitating to travel,
Yep.
So we're hoping selfishly, not that it has anything to do with worldview, but we're hoping selfishly that we will have a busy season out here, people renting and hopefully buying, because, it's a place to hang your hat.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Well said. Dave, what do you got? What should we do this weekend?
All right. Well, how about this one? You guys like psychics?
Oh, yeah.
I did that once. It's kind of a trip.
Is it?
It's a little. Have you? Okay, go.
I have.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wave Social Wellness, which is it's not a gym. There's like saunas in there and massages and
Where is
things
it?
like this. It's right on Hill Street in Southampton.
Okay.
They are welcoming a psychic medium, Christina McMahon, for a day for a private 45-minute readings designed to offer clarity, insight, and meaningful connections. So you could go there and ask her, should I buy that Hamptons house?
Exactly. That's such a great idea.
Or should you buy that candy bar?
Exactly.
I see a rental in your
Exactly.
future. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
So I thought that would be kind of fun to do. And then if you want to go out to West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center on May 2nd, there is going to be a fundraiser.
Fun. Like
Fundraiser.
fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Drop the D?
Yeah.
So, but it's a comedy show. It's a comedy show called We All Need a Laugh on Saturday night, as I said, at the West Ham Beach Performing Arts Center. And it's got some pretty famous comedians. Some of them have been on HBO. Some of them tour in Vegas. One was voted Long Island's favorite comedian. It's Paul Anthony, Robert Canberg,
You're my favorite comedian.
Maria
Long Island.
Walsh, Rich Walker, and Rob Falcone.
Rich Walker? No.
Rich Walker.
Oh, Rich Walker. Okay.
Yep. And tickets are like $50. So that's kind of nice. That's worth checking out. And then let's see. We also
What night is that? What night is it?
That's Saturday.
Saturday night. Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah. Thank God I remembered because I closed the window. That was the thing I was reading. I closed. Anyway, so then May 2nd at St. Luke's Church, you have in East Hampton, you have the Share the Harvest, which invites the community to celebrate the start of the spring season. And so they have a nice spring market where you can get, the new thing is sourdough bread. Thank God. Thank God that's come full circle. I mean, it was the worst when no one would let you eat bread. Now it's
Well,
like,
thank God. Yes, I agree with that.
oh, thank God. You can get, everybody's eating sourdough bread. It's everywhere. You could probably pick up sourdough bread there and other stuff. And then in Amagansett,
Plants too, right?
I do this all for you, Steve. And then in Amagansett, you have the Amagansett Life Saving and Coast Guard Station Museum opening day. So that's a mouthful. That is at 6 p.m. and guest speaker Hugh R. King is going to be there. He's the East Hampton town historian, who is not crazy. He's actually a bright guy.
Okay.
But he's really embraced this role of sort of the wacky, East Hampton town historian, which is great. He's a good guy. He was actually, I think he was like, my teacher in like 5th grade.
You need characters.
Yeah, he's 100% in character. He will be there at from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you can, meet some lifeguards, and the museum is pretty cool there. It's beautiful. It's right by the beach there, so you could check that out. A lot of diversity, a lot of diverse things.
Is it Long Island Restaurant Week coming up? Is that this week or next week? I think it's maybe this week.
Is it this week? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's Long Island. Oh, thanks. There's also Long Island
No
Restaurant
problem.
Week. There's also Long
I think
Island
that's
Restaurant.
it's a good thing.
You can visit. You can visit Long Island Restaurant Week. Literally, LongIslandRestaurantWeek.com, and you can view all the participating restaurants that are there.
Yep.
But Is it really so great?
No, because I don't eat.
Because everything's still
eat
expensive. Like,
Well,
you just
I don't
go where you want to go.
We're not
Exactly.
sure.
Go eat what you want. You gotta
Because you're like,
go
oh,
where
it's a
you
great
want
deal.
to go.
It's $125.
And there's always plus.
Yeah.
Plus.
Right, there's always adding
And
chicken
you're
is like an
oh,
extra $20.
You wanted meat? You wanted chicken? Oh, that's an extra $80.
Real meat's an extra $20.
Yeah. Don't listen to me. The Long Island Restaurant Week is great. It's the best thing ever. So you could do that too.
Look at
What's going on in the Hamptons?
All right. Good. You guys good? Anything else?
We're
before we
good.
close
Thank
it
you.
out?
No.
All right. We'll call that a podcast for the day. Everybody, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'm Andrew Dowd, and that is what's happening in the Hamptons. Thanks for joining us.